Dear students, good morning to you all. I once again welcome you all to this today's video lesson presentation. Today we will discuss about Poisson and normal distribution theories of probability distribution theories. The scheme of the today's talk or the presentation can be looked at from the present slide. That is, we will discuss some introduction on probability distribution, types of probability distribution or theories of distribution, and special emphasis on Poisson distribution, its assumptions, formula used to compute the illustrations, and pre-designed table values. And we also solve one problem, and a couple of problems will be taken for exercise. Apart to this, we also discuss normal distribution, its definition and concept, and some important features of normal distribution. Before we enter or to go to know about the probability distribution theories, we must know what is population distribution. In our previous classes and sections, we might have learned the distribution of population in three different series like dual series, discrete series, and continuous series. When you have studied the basic statistics like central tendency measures, dispersion, skewness, etc., there the data which is collected from the population is to be distributed based on observations and experience. Such distribution was known as observed or experimented distribution. So, in our central tendency measures, when you have distributed the population into groups like discrete series data, continuous series data, those distribution was taken place based on exclusively the statisticians or the persons or the researchers observation and experience. Hence, those were called observed and experimented distributions. But those are not more scientific distributions, and they cannot make you to complete and accurate information, so that we need more scientific support. Hence, we depend on another method. That is, when the population is distributed based on mathematics or mathematically designed formulas or based on the laws of probability, it is called theoretical or probability distribution. So, if the collected data or population is distributed mathematically and based on the probability laws, it is termed as theoretical distribution or probability distribution. This probability distribution, as we learned in our previous class, is broadly categorized into two: discrete probability distribution and continuous probability distribution. In discrete probability distribution, the given variables are certain, very clear, and its corresponding frequencies are also represented easily. But whereas in continuous probability distribution, when the variables or the population, which is familiarly represented with x value, is constituted between two terminals like lower values and upper values, that can be a continuous series of data. To distribute frequency to that, we apply a method continuous probability distribution. Then what is the immediate distinction between discrete probability distribution and continuous probability distribution. A discrete probability distribution is allowed to take on only a limited number of values. It cannot be exhaustive. It can be attributed to limited number of values. But whereas continuous probability distribution, what happens? In continuous probability distribution, the variable under consideration is allowed to take on any value with a given range. Let us take, just bring back the example from the central tendency measures. When you calculate arithmetic mean, median, mode, geometric mean, or even harmonic mean, of course, even to draw the pictures and diagrams, when you take series data, X and F values will be there. X is like 48, 50, 60, 70, 80. Those may be the marks of the students. But how many students have got a particular mark? Let me say 40 marks, a particular digit 40 have achieved by 10 students. Then in corresponding F column, we will write 10. 64 marks, 4 students. 80 marks, 2 students. 95 marks, 3 students. Like that we will write. So the number of values taken in the X column are limited. We cannot make the line exhaustive. But whereas in continuous series, what happens? We can take to as much data as available. We will take on any value of the given range, but the range should be between two values, which is called lower value and upper value, like 0 to 10, 20, 20 to 30. Means what? If you want to take what is the frequency of a mark repeated between 20 to 30, that includes 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, even 30. All these marks can be included in that box, and the number of marks repeated in these groups can be taken as a frequency. But whereas in discrete data, what happens? If you take 48 mark, only that 48 mark, how many times it is repeated, we will write against to that 48 mark. But in 20 to 30 class interval, all the mid values between the 20 and 30 will be taken, so that in continuous probability distribution, the variable under consideration is allowed to take on any value within a given range. That range may be with 10 interval, 5 interval, 2 interval, and 20 interval, 50 interval, or even 100 interval also. Then further, this discrete probability distribution is categorized into two types: binomial distribution, Poisson distribution. In our previous session, we learned about binomial distribution, its theoretical perspective, its assumptions, and how to solve the problems and all. But today we will make more focus on Poisson distribution. Of course, the continuous distribution is also there, that is normal distribution. Then what is Poisson distribution? It is one of the discrete probability distributions. As I said, this discrete probability distribution was divided broadly into two types, as this slide you find: binomial distribution and distribution. So that Poisson is one of the discrete probability distribution. It is widely used in physical and social sciences. And this Poisson distribution was developed by French mathematician Dr. Simon Deris-Poisson in 1837. Hence, it is named after his name. That is why only this method is called as Poisson distribution. This theory studies probability or behavior of rare events, the occurrence of happening of rare events, and their probability behavior can be studied through this Poisson distribution. The distribution is positively skewed at left side. When you draw a skew diagram in a normal bell shape, the amount of Poisson distribution fall or skewed at left hand side. And some more important points or assumptions of Poisson distribution can be understood, can be had from this slide. Just carefully look at this slide. As per this theory, that is Poisson probability distribution theory, again the outcomes are only two, P and Q. P represent the success, Q represent the failure, as we learned in our previous binomial distribution theory. But here we must remember that under Poisson distribution theory, the P is represented with 0 and Q is represented with 1. So always P is equal to 0 and Q is equal to 1. The another assumption is it will have single parameter. It cannot consider different parameters to measure the distribution. That single parameter is mean, means the central value, average value, as we learned, arithmetic mean, that can be indicated as x bar, and we learn the central tendency measure. But here in Poisson distribution, that single parameter of mean is represented by small m. Okay, the mean is denoted by small m, and NP is equal m. The probability of recurring and happening of events is equal to m, which is always constant. The occurrence of events are independent and random. This is very important. Again, the important assumption of Poisson distribution theory is that the occurrence of the events, as we learned, very rare events, their behavior, their probability can be studied with the help of Poisson distribution theory. So that this kind of events, the happening of these events are quite independent. The happening of one event do not depend on the another event or another variable. The happening of event is immediately and independent and random. It cannot certain, it cannot predetermine, randomly, erratically, unexpectedly these events can happen. And the another assumption is number of trials are very large. Here, to distribute the frequency under Poisson distribution, trials can be conducted with huge number. So that trials are very large and success of the event is very small. So that there is an adverse relation between the trials and success. The trials are very large and success of the event is very small. Happening of the event must have two alternatives, as we discussed in the beginning. The outcome or happening or result of event that may be n number of times, but the result, the outcome will be with two alternatives only, that is success or failure. That may be represented with P or Q. Then examples of the cases. What are the types of cases that can be studied in Poisson distribution theory? Just look at the slide, you can understand. Number of printing mistakes per page in a book. Take it. If you take a book of 500 pages, if you go on study each word and line in a page, if I ask you to find the mistakes per page, it's very hard, very hard to find the mistake. But still, to study such kind of things, the rare things, rare events, you can take. So that what are the number of printing mistakes per page in a book? Number of air accidents in India in a year. If you take an air accident, when aeroplanes and helicopters fly in the air, the accidents that took place in the air are very rare. Even we cannot find one or two for 2 to 3 years. The rare events which happened. So that the Poisson distribution theory is applied with rare events only, not the familiar and frequently occurring events. And third one is the number of industrial accidents for a month. Can you find very frequent industrial accidents in an industry or company or organizations every day? No, hardly we find one or two in a year across the nation. Number of telephone calls in a week, number of deaths in particular stage. For example, in our village or in our town, a particular place will be there. In that particular place, it is exposed to accidents. But what are the number of deaths in that particular stage? Yearly once or twice that accident takes place in that place. So such kind of events to study, we go for the poison distribution theory. And number of suicides in a particular place. These are the a few examples for poison distribution theory what we study. What is the formula for calculation of probability distribution in Poisson distribution theory? That is, Px is equal to e to the power of minus m into m to the power of x by x factorial. Let's look at the formula carefully. Here, x, remember, some textbooks, some teachers and authors can denote it with small also, as we learned in our binomial distribution. Fx or Fr. You may take small r in place of x, or x can also be taken. So, probability of x or small r, whatever you take, is equal e to the power of small minus m, e to the power of minus m, into the dot is pronounced as into m to the power of x by x factorial. Okay, then this is the important point we must remember. We need not to note all these things in our examination. If a problem comes from the Poisson distribution, these table values can be supplied to the students, and even a student with the assumption of that a problem comes from the Poisson distribution also take this paper to the examination hall, and invigilators and exams conducting authorities can permit you also. This is the table which is constituted by Poisson, and these are the values we can have. X values at 0.5 level, how much, and 1%, 1.5%, 2%, 2.5, 3 cases, 3.5 cases, 4 cases, 4.5, 5, 5.5, like that much are there. If X values are big, X values are 0 and all. 1, 2, 3 cases, table values varies. As you could find these log values in your logarithm tables, anti-log values when you calculate the geometric mean. Similar way, here Poisson distribution table can be used. Without this table value, we cannot do it. Even sometimes in the examination, in the question itself, at that mean value, what is the table value of Poisson will be also supplied, because it is always constant. Then, description of the formula. So we have taken the formula. What is the formula? That we discussed in this slide. Px is equal to e to the power of minus m into m to the power of x by x factorial. So what is x, what is m, what is x factorial, that we will see. E is always constant. Remember, the value of E in Poisson distribution theory is constant. It never change. It is always with the same value only. That is 2.7183. Then remember, it is always constant. It can be carried as it is. N number of problems you illustrate. Then what is big P? That is probability, and small m is mean. As I said, the single parameter that used in probability distribution of Poisson is, Poisson distribution of theory or probability, small m is an indicator of mean or average. And x, as I said, probability x, I said no, that can be used with, that can be represented with x or small r also. So that is an expected outcome. What you are expecting, what is your anticipating outcome, that is x. Sometimes we can indicate with r also. Now you can understand very well if we go for an illustration. Just look at this slide. I have got a problem for you here. An average of 5 cars arrive at a toll gate every minute, isn't it? An average of 5 cars arrive at a toll gate every minute. Means for every 1 minute, 5 cars are averagely arriving at the toll gate. So the average, as I said, mean value. What is mean value? Small m here is 5 at a toll gate every minute. Assuming this to be Poisson distribution, what is the probability of 1, 2, 3 and 4 cars arrived in a 1 minute period? On an average, for every minute 5 cars are arriving. But now you are expected to find that what is the probability of getting 0 cars per minute, or only 1 car per minute, only 2 cars per minute, likewise 3 cars or 4 cars per a minute. For that, we will go this way. First, the probability of 0 cars we will calculate. First, we should write always formula. That is what? Px or Pr is equal e to the power of minus m into m to the power of x by x factorial. That was the formula we have seen in our previous slide. Now you substitute the values into this formula. So 0 cars or the expected outcome. What you are expecting? 0 cars arrival for 1 minute. So the expected outcome, that is x, or you may call it as small r, value is 0. So P0 is equal probability of expecting 0 cars availability is equal e to the power of minus m. What is minus m? Average. And an average for 1 minute 5 cars are arriving. In the problem in the first line itself he has given, isn't it? So that e to the power of minus m, the em minus m is that m value is 5, mean value, average, e to the power of minus 5 into m to the power of x. What is m value? 5 to the power of x. X is what? Expected outcome, that is 0 cars. So 5 to the power of 0 by x factorial. What is x factorial? X is 0. So 0 factorial. That's all. Then remember, e to the power of minus m, that is e to the power of 5. That the mean value of 5 is a table value you should find out. How can we find out table value? Just look at the table value slide. In this first line, x is equal to 0 is there, no? Likewise, that arrow in a horizontal way, come just move right side. There, after 4.5, 5 will be there. At that 5 place, the value will be there. As my picture is placed there, you could not find it. But the value there written is 0.0067. That is e to the power of minus 5 value. That is always constant. Even you calculate the arrival of cars at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever you take. But e to the power of that minus m, or the average of, as I said, is a for 1 minute 5 cars. That is always constant here. That is 0.067 into 5 to the power of 0. See, any number to the power of 0 is equal to 1. This is mathematical formula. So that I written even there also 5 to the power of 0 is equal to 1 into, so that 1 I have taken by 0 factorial. 0 factorial is always 1. So that 1. 0.0067 into 1 is 0.0067 by 1 is 1. When you divide it, you will get 0.0067. So the probability of arrival of 0 cars for 1 minute is 0.0067. This is. Similarly, you go for 1 car probability, the arrival of 1 car for 1 minute. Then we will write the formula. The probability of 1 car is equal to minus m. I said it is very constant. It is the power of 5 into m factorial. That is 5 factorial. 5, m to the power of x, that is x is 1, then 5 to the power of 1 by x factorial, just formula 1 factorial. Then e to the power of m minus m or e to the power of minus 5 is always constant, as we just discussed. Then it is 0.0067 into 5 factorial. What is 5? 5 to the power of 1, 5 into 1, then 5. Then 1 factorial is 1, 1 into 1, 1. Then 0.0067 into 5 is equal to 0.0335. That should be divided by 1 is equal to 0.0335. This is the probability of arrival of one car for 1 minute. Similarly, look at the 2 cars probability. The same formula we can do. Then probability of getting 2 cars is equal to e to the power of minus 5 into 5 square. 5 square means 5 is m to the x is expected outcome, that is 2 by x factorial, that is 2 factorial. So e to the power of minus 5 is equal to 0.0067 into 5 square. 5 square is equal to what? 5 into 5, 25 divided by 2 factorial. 2 into 1, 2. Then 0.0067 into 25 divided by 2 is equal, if you make it with the help of a calculator, you will find that 0.08375. So this is the probability of arrival of 2 cars for 1 minute. Then just look at this slide. What is the probability of arriving 3 cars for a minute? You will find it. Same way, the probability of arrival of 4 cars. Let me brief it. Then again, if the expected outcome of your trial is 4, arrival of 4 cars for a minute, then probability x is equal to e to the power of minus m into m to the power of x divided by x factorial. That was the formula, as we know under the Poisson distribution theory. Then just substitute the values into the formula. So P4 is equal to e to the power of minus 5 into 5 to the power of 4 by 4 factorial. What is this for? X value or small r value, that is expected outcome, that is the arrival of 4 cars for 1 minute. Then go to the value. As I said, e to the power of minus m is always constant, that is 0.0067 into 5 to the power of 4, that is 5 into 5 into 5 into 5. That will be 5 into 5, 25, 25 into 5, 125, 125 into 5, 625. Right? So 0.0067 into 625, 4 factorial, that is 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Then you will get 4.1875 by 24. When you divide it, you will get 0.1744. So this is the outcome, that is the arrival of 4 cars for 1 minute. This way you have to calculate the Poisson distribution. But remember, my students, e to the power of minus m is the table value which is constant. And probability of arrival of a car can be indicated with either small r or x. That's all. Then these are the 2 problems I got for you to practice yourself. Find the probability of arrival of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 cars when the mean of staying cars at toll booth is 4. The mean of staying, mean means average, is 4. Is it? E to the power of minus m is e to the power of minus 4. Like the second problem is calculate Poisson probability distribution of getting 2, 4, 6 and 8 accident on a particular place where mean is 3. This way you have to calculate the Poisson distribution theory. The next one is normal distribution. The last one in probability distribution theory is normal distribution theory. As we discussed in our previous slide, this is continuous probability distribution method, and it is defined as a continuous frequency distribution of infinite range. If range of variables is infinite, uncertain, we cannot just restrict to limited number of values. then we will go for the continuous probability distribution. See, we have only one continuous probability distribution theory, that is normal distribution. As I said, normal distribution theory. The normal distribution is a descriptive model that describes the real world situation. Generally, the normal distribution theory is very familiar with our real life situation. Normal values, normal ranges of your BP, what is the normal range of your blood pressure, diabetic sugar levels, temperature levels, ESR, when you go to the blood test and urine test, normal values we depend on. See, it is sometimes called the bell curve. The normal distribution is sometimes called as a bell curve because when you draw it in a diagrammatically, it can constitute a bell shape. Hence why it is called as a bell curve also, normal distribution. It is also called the Gaussian curve because a mathematician called Carl Friedrich Gauss has advocated this method. Hence, it is named after his name, that is Gaussian curve. This should remember competitive exams. The normal distribution curve is also known as bell curve or Gaussian curve. See, look at this slide. With the given variables, with the given information and data, if you draw a diagram, you will find a bell shape. The normal distribution curve is always with a bell shape. That is why it is called as a bell-shaped curve or bell curve, isn't it? Gaussian curve. Then, this is very important point you should remember. In our Poisson distribution theory, to measure it, we have taken only one parameter, that is the mean. But here, in normal distribution curve, we will take three central tendency values. We will depend on three values, that is mean, median, and mode, but all are same. There is no difference. Mean is equal to median, median is equal to mode. Therefore, mean is equal to mode. So all these three values are same. X bar is equal, M is equal, Z is equal to, or same. And it is symmetry. Left hands are and right hands are equal. See, look at this slide and find the picture. A bell-shaped curve is equally divided, symmetric, with the same value. Symmetry means with the same value. Left hand side 50%, right hand side 50%. Now, as I said, in our day-to-day life, we apply this probability distribution more. So, what are the day-to-day life examples? The body temperature for healthy women. If we want to check the temperature of a boy or a girl, what we can do? We will take a thermometer, put in the mouth, then we will test it. Then, how can we judge whether that boy is suffering with fever or a girl is suffering with fever or not? We will compare the findings, values with normal values. For example, if thermometer indicates 97.5, we say that, oh, you are normal, you have no temperature, you have no fever, you are all right. But if it is 101.5 or 101, oh, now you got a fever, because the normal range of temperature for a woman body is 98.5 Fahrenheit. If it exceeds, we can find that he is suffering with a fever. His temperature is increased. So that is then to make a judgment, to make an inference, we need the normal values first. Similarly, the heights and weights of adults. What should be the normal height of an adult? For example, if he is 20 years old, the height should be about 5.5 to 6 about it. If at the age of 20 years, a boy or a girl is with the height of 3 feet, isn't it? It is an abnormal. It is also a 20 years, boy or girl should be on an average have the weight of 50 to 60, 65. If it is 25 kgs or if it is 100 kgs, we call it as an abnormality. So to compare the result, we depend on the normal values. For that, we depend on the normal distribution theory. Then the thickness and dimensions of a product, IQ and standardized test scores, your intelligence coefficient, when you calculate it, there is a formula to calculate intelligence coefficient. IQ is equal to MA by PA into 100. The psychologists very familiarly use this formula. intelligence coefficient is called MA, mental age, by PA, physical age, into 100. Then to make quality control test results, compare them and to find the results and errors in measurements, such real life situations, we apply this normal distribution. So this normal distribution curve, as I said, in the bell shape, and these are the other few points you should remember. Depending on the normal distribution theory, if you draw a curve, always the problems are represented through curve only, diagram only, and a graphical representation of the normal distribution generally made. It is determined by the mean and the standard deviation. It is a symmetric unimodal bell-shaped curve. Only one mode will be there. If you draw the central value at the locating a center point at this bell and draw, that is called unimodal bell-shaped curve. There will not be more than one mode value. It is unimodal only. Its tails extending infinity in both directions. The tails, see, look at this picture, left hand side and right hand side. These two tails can expand to infinite directions. The wider the curve, the larger the standard deviation. More variation exists in the process. The spread of the curve is equal to 6 times the standard deviation of the process. These are the few important points you should remember. And it helps calculating the probabilities for normal distributed population. The normal distribution curve, what happens? It helps in calculating the probabilities for normal distributed population. And the probabilities are represented by the area under the normal curve. The total area under the curve is equal to 100% or 1. This represents the population of the observation. We can get a rough estimate of the probability above a value, below a value, or even between any two values with the help of this normal distribution. So these are the few important features of normal distribution. One must remember it. Normal distributions around their mean. See, around their mean or mode or median, only they move, and that movement is symmetrical. The mean, median, and mode of a normal distribution are equal. 3 means we will consider here. These are the 3 parameters considered in normal distribution. But whereas in Poisson distribution, only one mean is considered as a parameter. But here, mean, that is x bar value, median, m value, or mode represented by z can be considered as parameter to test the normal distribution. But remember, all these 3 are equal. Third feature is the area under the normal curve is equal to 1. The area under the normal curve is equal to 1, as we see in previous slide. Then normal distributions are denser in the center and less dense in the tails. So the normal distributions are denser in the and less dense in the tails. Normal distributions are defined by 2 parameters, that is mean mu and the standard deviation. Next point, 68% of the area of the normal distribution is within 1 standard deviation of the mean. As per some studies and experiments made the occupation of the normal distribution, it is found that 68% of the area of normal distribution is within 1 standard deviation of the mean, and approximately 95% of the area of normal distribution is within 2 standard deviations of the mean. These are the things we have learned in our today's class. So students, remember that we have learned Poisson distribution, those assumptions and application, and how to illustrate the problem, and we have also taken some exercises. And after that, the continuous probability distribution theory, one and only normal distribution we have taken. We have found its definition and application, with what are the day-to-day life situations we use the normal distribution, and the important features of normal distribution are also discussed. So remember that in normal distribution, always the method is calculated with the help of graph only, and the help of, in a graph we will draw a curve. It is in bell shape, and this can be represented with three values, that is mean, median and mode, and it is a bimodal concept, isn't it? So that keeping these points in view, you once go through a standard textbook, and so that you will be very familiar with probability distribution theories. By this, we will stop the presentation here today, and tomorrow we will come with another presentation. Thank you.